$80 micro DLC? $80 micro DLC? What the fuck? Splitgate 2, the game that... What is this store? Like, why is there so much crappy micro DLC? How is any of this even worth it? What is this battle pass? Splitgate 2 is a brand new arcade shooter that is basically the love child of Halo, Portal, and Call of Duty. It's a fast-paced arcade shooter that has all the mainstays of a modern game, like a battle pass, daily challenges, custom class system, slide canceling. I mean, a lot of the main things that you would probably find in like a Call of Duty, maybe even a Halo, are in this game. Not to mention the fact the game comes with a fresh battle royale mode, because that's not an oversaturated market. I must say, Splitgate 2 has some of the most fun gameplay in the market. Yes, I kind of criticized it initially when the game got dropped, and mainly because I was really annoyed with the CEO that went up on stage and said, "Make gaming great again," and then announced a battle royale. Like, there's something I just find that's so enjoying about the boost jumping, the sliding, and the portal mechanics in the game that make this entire experience really entertaining. Games feel very fast, and it really goes by pretty much just like that, other than like some of the objective game modes. And if I'm being honest, it's probably more that they just feel long than them actually being long. One thing that I will point out though is that as someone who's gotten worse and worse at competitive shooters, there is a very clear discrepancy between the good players and the bad players. Luckily, I haven't experienced the ultra good players yet, except for maybe once or twice. Because when you experience one of those good players, it's pretty obvious.
Oh, what the fuck ever?
And looking at the multiplayer side of it, you can get a new custom class system, which they didn't have in the original Splitgate, and I don't know if I like this system. I think it's good and bad. Like, it's great that you have options, and there's more options than the original to at least customize your weapon, customize your loadout with perks. With there being kind of a hero element to the game, where there being 3 overarching classes, and there being subclasses allowing you to customize weapons, attachments, loadouts in general. With those 3 heroes being Eros, Meridian, and Sabrask. Eros seems to have the wonderful ability that allows you just to be fast as fuck boy.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Meridian seems to have this ability called Hyper Sight, or
I've got you in my sights.
And Sabrask has the ability called Smart Wall, which is just basically a bubble shield. That's kind of dumb. From playing the game, Sabrask is probably my favorite class to use, and not because of the bubble shield. I mean, that's a rather useless ability. It's the weapons themselves feel so much better than the ones in the other classes. Also, while playing, you'll probably find a couple power weapons throughout the map, like a baseball bat, maybe a bazooka, an overpowered sniper, or various other weapons that are really more overpowered than the other weapons that you're probably in your classes. The only couple major issues I do have with gameplay is one being the spawns can be sometimes just downright terrible. And that might be because of the fast-paced nature of the game and things constantly ever-changing, but it sometimes can get so frustrating when you die, then spawn, and then just pretty much die right there and then. The other issue is the queue times. The queue times in Splitgate 2 are absurdly long. And it's actually even worse when you're playing the game's Battle Royale mode, which you think when it comes to Battle Royale modes, most people are playing. But there are times you are there for like 2 minutes just waiting for a game to finally connect. And I've noticed the longer it goes on and you finally do connect to a match, there more often than not, the game will just say game found and you're sitting there for like 4 more minutes and then until you just have to like dashboard again or completely cancel the queue. Speaking on the Battle Royale bit, I would probably say Splitgate 2's Battle Royale is fine. Like, the most interesting part for me is the fact that there isn't one big map. It's 4 small maps that make up one big map. Those 4 maps being Glacier, Drought, Inferno, and Fracture. I guess the other pro is that this is a Resurgence Battle Royale, so whenever you die, all you have to do is just wait out the clock, and then you eventually come back as long as your team is still entirely alive. But other than that, there's really not much that makes this Battle Royale stand out amongst all the other Battle Royales, other than maybe the portal mechanic that most people don't really use. And I think it's funny, because I think the CEO really believed this was going to be the main selling point of this game, even though it's a free-to-play game, that I really found the multiplayer to be vastly better than the Battle Royale and the thing that I wanted to play more of. There's another feature in this game called Create a Map, which is basically Forge from Halo, but the thing that I have a tough time with is the fact that it's just too much. My issue with Halo over the last few years with their Forge mode is that it's very overcomplicated. A lot of the controls are just very weird, not like the old style of Forge that was very simple, very easy to use. But Splitgate 2 has decided to do the same thing, and I can't get into it. I know there are people that probably find this an amazing thing, but I also don't feel like there's enough pieces in here to make good things. Nonetheless, I'm not gonna knock it too hard because I understand this is like more of a skill issue on my part. It's a great added mode for people that are good with stuff like this and can probably make some good maps, and maybe Splitgate 2 will use that community aspect of it to allow people's maps to be put into the multiplayer, who knows? Where I think the game struggles the most is the micro DLC aspect of it. I understand Splitgate 2 is a free-to-play game, and with free-to-play games, I try to be more tame with my actual, like, criticisms of micro DLC, battle passes, and so on, because the game at the end of the day is free. Because at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of cash flow coming in for there to be developers to develop the game, because without no money, there's no developers. Without no developers, there's no game. But this is where my criticisms come into place. Splitgate 2 is by far and away, the greediest game I have ever seen. If you haven't seen on the internet, there's an $80 bundle within the store that, yes, is currently marked down to like, what, 40 bucks or whatever. There is not a single world nor universe where there should be an $80 micro DLC that is for a bundle, for God's sakes, in a store. You can mark it down as much as you want. It's the fact that you still have the audacity to put $80 DLC in your store, because someone's gonna buy it, and then it's a slippery slope for other developers. Another, like Call of Duty, for instance, could see someone buy that, or see it working, and people go, alright, then I'm gonna put that into my game that's $60, $70, $80. And from what I can tell, this has taken an effect on the game's customization. Yes, there are multiple attachments you can put on a weapon. That's not the big deal. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem like there's any weapon skins or weapon blueprints that change the look of your weapon. There's very few earnable character skins, with the only way, from what I can tell, being able to obtain these things is through the battle pass of the store, and the battle pass itself is insane. There's 3 battle passes, and I think each of them costs like 10 bucks. And the battle passes themselves aren't even filled with content. It doesn't feel like there's a ton in these battle passes for you to really do. And the free items aren't even like good items that you can actually have. It's like, what, maybe 4 slides with like one being pretty much just like an icon or something. It's not worth it. And the most head-scratching part of all this is that there's like 3 currencies in the entire game. So like, not only could you buy the battle pass or bundles with something called Splitcoin, but in order to get the unlockables in that battle pass as you progress through it, you need to unlock them using blue chips, which you only get by playing the game and completing challenges, which like in itself isn't terrible, but it just also is like, why is this even here? Why can't I just unlock the items that I've already basically purchased? The third currency is also called Proralium, which like, okay. And that in itself also seems to unlock certain bundles, which I think are more like pro bundles. And this entire system as a whole feels kind of like a hat on a hat. It's all just super unnecessary. It's one thing on top of another thing that just makes it pointless and unnecessary. Why have all this currency in the game why not just have one? And the funniest part to me is the minute they got called out for this, the CEO, Ian Prue, basically came out and said, it's news to me, had no idea this was a thing. We actually hired a guy from the Call of Duty team that made it very, you're the CEO! You have no right to not know what's going on with your game. Wouldn't you want to know what you had to have had some sort of input in this, right? Like, that doesn't sound real to me. It sounds like you just got caught with your pants down and went, oh, people didn't want to buy our $80 DLC? That sucks. Oh, I had no idea this was a thing. You're the CEO, you should know what's going on with this. And I firmly believe Splitgate 2 is a very good game. I think it's very enjoyable, and it's a fun free-to-play game for everyone. But if they're so hell-bent on keeping this micro DLC system the way it is, and really limiting the amount of content that players can at least get for free, then I think the game is sunk. People are gonna get bored and probably leave, because there's nothing that you're really working towards that's not being purchased. Splitgate 2, on a scale of slamming to jamming, is Green Day's American Idiot.